Good evening everyone. If you don't know, you should know. My name is Rameez Khan and I am a filmmaker and a film critic. And today's film we are reviewing is The Trial of 1962.
Can there be any doubt that behind my arrest a vast organization is at work? An establishment which contains a retinue of civil servants, officers, police and others, perhaps even hangmen.
The Trial, released in 1962, is a film directed by Orson Welles, and Orson Welles says that this is his best film he has ever created. Mind you, this is the same man who directed Citizen Kane and Touch of Evil, which I think is superior to Citizen Kane. But it's really hard to object to Orson Welles' claims over here, as The Trial literally has everything. It is of course an adaptation of a book written by Franz Kafka. Now, I have not read a single book by Mr. Kafka, but I have read up on what his books are usually about. They involve existential dread, absurdism, and this threat of a higher power in most of his stories, and The Trial has all of that. It tells the story of a man named Joseph K., played by Anthony Perkins, previously seen in Psycho. He is convicted of a crime he doesn't know of, and he is told to show up in court. That's it. Men dressed in black show up at his doorstep. It's interesting, most of the people tormenting him in this film are dressed in black. We follow Joseph in trying to resolve this mess, and honestly, the story is up to you to interpret. Who's passing judgment on Joseph? For what is he being sentenced? It's all up to you. You make your own interpretations on this. Hints are given to you in the form of new characters and backstory, but at the end of the day, you decide what court this is and what's going on. To me, the court was an allegory of religion. God was the one judging him in that court. This film is about its world, and the world and dialogue Orson Welles creates in this film is spectacular. There's an air of sin in almost every frame of this film. The cinematography and the acting further that feeling as well. Speaking of acting, Anthony Perkins is on top form in this film. There are, first of all, lots of long shots in this film which run around 5 to 6 minutes. Anthony Perkins has been given the job of reciting all of his lines in those 6 minutes. Not only does he have to memorize and deliver dialogue, but there are numerous changes in the acting beats as well. And Anthony Perkins delivers all of those without breaking a sweat, honestly. He's stunning to watch and carries all the traits and emotions a person who would be accused of nothing would. Honestly, I don't know why Anthony Perkins didn't explode. After Psycho, you would think he would be getting offers left and right, but sadly, he didn't explode. Orson Welles, in true Orson Welles fashion, also acts in this film as the advocate of Joseph. He's somewhat an antagonist in this film, by the way. It's a somewhat powerful character, but his promises and words never seem to conjure up anything. He also keeps a manslave in his house who willingly stays there, alive, might I add. He wants Joseph to be like that as well, but Joseph obviously denies his offer. And he looks for other means to clearing his name. There are other characters that Joseph goes to help him fight this charge. One of them is a painter. Every character in this film sort of has his own existential dread and acts as a pillar of telling the story. All the characters in this film are rather hopeless. When Franz Kafka wrote this book, it is said that it was based off findings off of his own paranoia and no resolution. Those themes are prevalent in this film, and it asks you to question, and it wants you to ask yourself, is there such a thing as closure in this world? This is also a theme that the season of True Detective asked as well. The Trial is not a film you should watch if you want to follow a conventional 3-act structure. While it does have that, it's rather vague. The film asks you to be an interpreter of some sorts and go in it and make your own story. It's pure cinema shot in crisp black and white to go with the excellent lighting and camera placement. Film noir at its finest. Tons of shadows and silhouettes are seen as well. Also, there are certain aspects of this film which reminded me of the film Inception, such as the manslave, and a film which is directly inspired off of this is 1993's The Fugitive. It's a weird film, but I couldn't help but be immersed in it all the way through, and I'm giving this film a final score of 4 out of 5. You should definitely go see The Trial at least once in your life, and I believe when I get a bit older, I will have more meaning and appreciation for this film. Thank you so much for watching, people. If you enjoyed this review, please hit that free subscribe button, and if you'd like to connect with me or just have a friendly chat with me, I am on Twitter and Snapchat. My username is RameezFilmGeek. So until next time, people, remember to love yourselves.